Hi again, this is Jenny. Thank you for coming to cook with me. Our next project is going to be to braise. Braising means that you cook something about 2/3 covered in a liquid, and that liquid is going to become your sauce. So it's not like poaching where you're fully immersed and then you don't use the liquid as a sauce. In this case, you'll actually save all the juices from whatever you're cooking and it'll be incorporated into your sauce. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to make scallops in a parsley sauce en fouillette. And en fouillette means in a little puff pastry case. So I'm going to make that using Pepperidge Farm puff pastry. You can make puff pastry from scratch, but it's hardly worthwhile. This is a wonderful product. It comes frozen. The truth is you don't want it to be fully room temperature because it gets like it is now, a little bit sloppy and pliable, and we don't want it too pliable. But it's not terrible, it's still cold. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out, unfold it, and I do not roll it out any further. I like the thickness that it comes in the box because then it puffs up quite a great deal. I've made a little template of a shark freehand. I just drew it onto a piece of paper that was a little bit thick, and I'm going to just lay that on, and I'm going to cut around it with a paring knife, just like that. And you can do this with any shape. You can do this with a donut cutter or a cookie cutter. You can cut this into squares. I'm just doing the shark because it's so darn cute. There we go. And now I'm going to lay this back down on the sheet pan when I'm done, and I'm going to egg wash it. I'm going to make another one. I'll be right back. Okay, our sharks are done, and on the tray, I'm going to make an egg wash, which means I'm going to take the yolk. And in classical cooking, we use cream. You do not have to use cream. You can lighten this egg yolk up with water or a little milk, but you'll get a nice, beautiful glaze. Anytime that I say cream, I mean whipping cream or heavy cream. I do not mean half and half. If I mean half and half, I'll say it. So when I say cream, I mean cream, heavy cream. So we're just going to mix that up. That's a nice egg wash. I'll save the egg white. You can freeze those for meringues. Take a brush, and I'm just going to brush the top of these. That way when they puff up, they'll have a beautiful golden color. You cook puff pastry at a very high temperature. It has, I think, I don't even know how many layers, 600 and some layers of butter and the butter and the pastry. So it's going to puff up, but I want it to be nice and golden on the top. Very hot oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. 425. I'll pull these out when they're done and we'll come back and cook the scallop. When I was a teenager, I lived in Denmark with a family of caterers, and the mother used to always serve peas and carrots in a parsley sauce. Well, I'm making the parsley sauce for the scallops, but I want to serve peas and carrots around the plate. And you know, in fancy cooking, you don't need a big pile, you just need a few. But I'm going to make my carrots match my peas. So I take this little Parisian scoop, you just push it into that carrot, and you make a little round. I'm going to microwave these to tender, so I'm just putting them in a coffee cup. I'm going to make like 10 or 12. Doesn't take very long for 2 servings because it's really just a garnish. So we do a few of these. I'll pop these in the microwave for probably 3 minutes or until they're tender. And the peas are frozen, already cooked. All I have to do is pop those in hot water at the end, and my garnish will be ready, and they'll match. How cute is that? The shark pastries are in the oven, but I want to show you real quick how they puff up so beautifully. They're not quite finished, but you can see how they're puffing. The temperature is 425. That's what's making them lift up. As soon as they're golden brown on the top, I'll take them out. But never undercook your puff pastry because it won't be done on the inside. It's only flour and fat, so you need to fully cook it. Beautiful! When you're cooking with scallops, sometimes you can get them fresh. They need to not be gray. They need to be nice and pink and a little bit translucent, meaning almost like Scotch tape. You can see through them. But all scallops, now this one doesn't have one, but all scallops are connected to the shell with this little piece of tissue here. It's quite tough and often has sand underneath it, so that needs to be removed. So that's really the only thing you have to do to scallops except wash them and make sure there's no specks of dirt or sand. If you see any, you need to rewash and scrape them out because they will make the bite real crunchy, and you won't like it. See, there's a little piece of the tendon. That's the tendon that holds it. These are pretty clean. I only see one. Okay, well, all my scallops are good, so they can go right into my pan, ready to roll. So what I'm going to do is put some cream right into the pan over here at the stove. Whoop, there's another little tendon. See, there he is. Okay, come over here with me, Ollie, and we're going to go to the stove, and we're going to fire up this saute pan. That clicking's going to drive me crazy. But again, it's cream, it's not half and half, and we're going to just put that right in the pan, and we're going to bring that to a simmer. And as soon as it's simmering, I'm going to drop these scallops in, and then I'm going to chop some parsley really fine, and in the end I'm going to add that to the sauce. It'll give it great color and great flavor. I like the curly parsley that we grew up with here in the United States. They tell you to buy Italian parsley for flavor, but this is very sweet and I love it. So I'm going to use this. The only thing is that we need to chop it really fine, because you know how when you bite into parsley and it's not chopped, it does not have a good bite. So as the scallops are going to be cooking in this liquid braising, as you see, they're not going to be fully immersed. They're just going to be floating in that, not fully covered. And they cook very quickly. The cream will reduce, I'm spilling, and I'm going to chop this parsley while that happens. My parsley's washed. You never want stems in parsley. When you're chopping cilantro and other things, sometimes it doesn't matter, but parsley stems are very tough. So we're not going to need a mountain, just a little bit. Parsley actually is full of vitamins. We don't eat it as much as we used to, but it's a very good herb. So we go one way and then we go another way. And I'll spend a couple more minutes doing that and we'll check our scallops. Okay, my sharks are nice and brown. So don't pull them out before they look like that. They won't be burned on the bottom, don't worry. Puff pastry, it takes a lot to burn it. But it needs to be nice and puffy like that. It'll be cooked on the inside and it'll stay fluffy. It won't fall. Okay, we'll cool those. I'm going to finish chopping this parsley. We're going to put it into the sauce with the scallops, and then we're going to put the dish together. Braising can also include covering the pan, but these scallops are cooking so quickly I don't really need to. As you can see, the liquid's coming to a boil. The scallops are done, but I want to reduce this sauce a little bit. Reducing simply means to cook the liquid, to make water vapor come out so that the sauce becomes thicker, richer, more flavorful, more concentrated. As I said before, things cook residually in the poaching lesson. There's heat inside these scallops now, and they're going to continue to cook for a little bit. So I don't want to overcook them. So I'm pulling them out, and that's letting them rest. And as they rest, they're going to release some of their juices. And I'm going to pour those juices back into my sauce. Now, you come and look at this sauce. You can see that it's starting to get very tacky, sort of sticky on the sides. That's a good thing. Cream reduces into a beautiful sauce. I'm going to get a spatula real quick, and I'm going to rub the edges so that it's not more reduced on the outside and starting to brown. That won't hurt anything, but we don't really want this to be caramelized. And when I get the texture I want, I'm going to add the juices back, and then I'll just reduce the heat or maybe turn it off altogether until I'm ready to serve. That's beautiful. See that? Nice and thick. If you do over-reduce and the fat starts to separate out, simply add a touch of water to bring it back. Now you can see I've chopped this parsley quite fine. When you garnish with parsley, you need to put it in a paper towel and squeeze the juices out, or it'll turn everything green. But in this case, I want the green. So I'm just going to put that right in there, and you're going to see the beautiful sauce and the color that comes out of this. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, the sauce is done. I'm going to add the liquid back from the scallops. That's going to bring just enough liquid back into the sauce that it's not separating. In go the scallops to be warmed. And now I'm going to prepare the puff pastry. Take a serrated knife and start at the thick point because we don't want to cut the tips off. We're going to go back and forth very gently right through the center, being gentle with the tips. See that we don't break them. The bottom goes onto a plate. Let's do it that way because that's the top side. Little boys love this. And now we're simply going to take these scallops that have been I should actually taste this, make sure the salt is correct. Sweet, it's delicious, a little salt. You don't actually technically put black pepper into a white dish, but I don't like white pepper, so I'm doing it anyway. So a little salt and pepper. We simply spoon the scallops onto here. And they don't have to be perfect, they can be falling off a little bit. But divide them up between the two sharks. There we go, maybe one more over here. And if I had a proper spoon, I'd spoon this sauce on, but I'm just going to do like this. There we go. And the puff pastry will stay nice and crunchy. Might as well use all this flavor here. We put the tops on the sharkies. And then I have my vegetables. They're still warm. You can do a rapid heat right now, 30 seconds in the microwave. But we're just going to garnish with the peas and the carrots. Whoops, all the carrots on one side. Not too much fussing. It just looks cute. And it'll go great with the parsley sauce. Okay, there we go. And again, if you want to put a lemon twist or a lime twist, but there's our lunch. Whoops, let's tap him down a little. You see him? Bon appetit. Thank you for joining me for my braising session. Oliver, my cameraman, I want to thank him, but he gets to eat all the food, so I don't feel too bad. Thanks again from sunny Florida. I hope to see you next time when we'll saute